you said something that I just want to make clear. You mentioned the constitutional officer, Lieutenant Governor, and various other ones. And I don't know if you have a copy of the bill in front of you or not, but I just skimmed through it to try to find where in the bill you might have gotten that information. Maybe it was in the old bill, I'm not sure. But with regards to the exemption regarding security services provided for the governor, lieutenant governor, the only place that I believe lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, auditor of state, treasurer of state, so on and so forth, judges, those are only mentioned under security plans. Security.
You're right, I don't
records
understand.
reflecting the planning and provision of security services provided to the governor or the rest of those. And so I think the exemption that you're referring to, I just want to be clear, it's not referring to working papers, it's not referring to anything regarding records or documents or expanding that and shielding anything that you would get from the Secretary of State's office, state lands, or anything like that. It is only narrowly defined to the security plans. And unfortunately, we live in a day and age where even members of the legislature, whenever there's a controversial bill that comes up, have death threats. There's some people out there that the state police provide security plans for some members of the legislature, even during session, because of threats that they receive. And so I think it's narrowly defined to that. It's not regarding any additional inspections of working papers. The draft that came out yesterday, I was not in favor of, or the bill that was filed with regards to the deliberative process exemption that was being proposed. That's not in this bill. So just want to be clear that.
And I found it, thank you. I'm going to ask Senator Hester if I could, is that what that means? It's just the security?
I was responding to that because I have no idea.
It's page 2, lines at the end of the page, that pages, or lines 34 through line 4 of page 3.
Okay.
That's referring to security services for the constitutional officers, the governor in addition to the constitutional officers. That's the question.
And the question is?
Just that that's referring to that.
Yes.
And there's no other provision to stop FOIAs from any of these government agencies or these cabinet positions?
No, just those constitutional officers.
For security only?
Security only. I guess what I'm saying, like, if they have communication within their staff, that's not foiable. If they have communication with the secretary or the governor's office, that's not foiable, direct. But if their staff beyond their secretary position, it is protected.
Again, I'm asking, is that only for security or is that for everything?
It is for everything. I gave plenty of examples about that.
Okay, he just said it wasn't, so that's why I'm asking.
What she's asking you is in regards to the lieutenant governor, the AG.
On that specific section?
Not specific
That
section.
specific section?
Security.
Okay.
No, I'm asking for the whole thing, not just that specific section.
Well, that's what you're referring to, is you're saying that this bill opens it up to cover the working documents of all of those offices, and it doesn't. It's only related to security plans to protect the.
He just said it wasn't.
I'm reading the plain language of the bill.
Pardon?
I'm reading the plain language of the bill.
Well, and I've got it in front of me, and I am too, and in that section, but I have not had pushed or printed copy. So, I was asking Senator Hester, did this include everything or just security? probably had more dealings with security of high officials in my career in the Navy and with DIA. I know there are Arkansas State Police, God bless them, that take care of the governor's security. And I have no problem with them not telling you what route she's taken to go to the airport. I have no problem with no one telling me how she gets here from her house. What I do have problems with is if it is, as Senator Hester says, that limited communications between all the cabinet heads and their immediate staff.
There's a difference between cabinet heads and elected officials.
Okay, elected officials.
So elected officials that are referenced in the bill that we're talking about.
Oh, no, I mean elected and appointed.
So that's a different section.
Ma'am, please let him finish his, and
So I think you're conflating both of those sections of the bill. The second section on page 3, lines 5 and 6, refers to communications with cabinet appointees. And only their communications between the governor's office, the governor herself, or her office, and those secretaries. So that is direct communication. That is lines 5 and 6. Item number 29 is referring to specifically the communication. Prior to that, though, the stuff that's related to the elected officials, go back to the previous page. It says records reflecting the planning or provision of security services provided to A, governor, or B, and list the rest of the elected officials.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with communication between those offices or within those offices, only the security planning and procedures. So I just want to be very clear that the exemption on there that I'm referring to is only for security details for all elected officials and not the communications within their offices.
And I think that the protection of Sarah Huckabee's standards is extremely important, and I'm going to just reference the lines from before. I don't have any problem with that. I do with everybody in the group that you just read, and I think that FOIA should apply to everything else except for her security provision.
So the rest of the elected officials do not need security if there's political threats?
If there are political threats, yes. But this perceived notion that everyone that serves in our government has these threats, it's not true. I'm talking to some of them. They've not had any.
Well, some haven't, no, but there are some that have.
And maybe,
We'll go around and
I
around.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
The rest of the folks in the room, I know this, Senator King.
Man, that was paper service for 2 years. So that was my previous question when I was bringing, was even situations I've been in FOI that had nothing to do with security, that would be covered and protected and all kinds of things. So there's so much outside of the scope of security. And that's what my brain was on those other situations that I came back.
thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Senator King. We're going to go on.